Well, thank you all for being here with us today. Once again, on my podcast, A Legacy of Love, Un Legado de Amor. And we have a very special guest with us today, Deanna. She also has a very special story to share. We all have a story and a journey. And I believe that she has something very wonderful, unique, and special to share. A very special story. So, Deanna, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Analee.
Thank you. Well, could you share a little bit about what you do currently? And if you may also share a little bit about your story.
Great. Well, I am actually a life coach for women with alcoholic partners. And the reason I got into this is because I was actually in an alcoholic relationship for 20 years myself. And that was about 20 years ago. And at that time, I was looking for a resource for me beyond the traditional resources of like Al Anon and therapy. And I found that unfortunately, just for those two at that time, again, 20 years ago, there wasn't anything else. And therapy was helpful, absolutely. It helped me get into a lot of the issues of how I got to where I was in my relationship with my alcoholic partner, but it really wasn't taking me forward like to the next step. And beyond that, I was also looking for some advice. I wanted to know what to do if this situation arose and that situation arose, and a therapist just won't do that for you. And so I was kind of looking for like a mentor or a support. And I wasn't finding that. And in Al Anon, if any of your listeners have been to Al Anon meetings, that's not something that's offered either. There's not a lot of advice unless you, of course, meet someone at your meeting and have a conversation then. So, all that being said, 20 years ago, when I was looking for this help, I wanted to become another resource because I knew what I wanted while I was going through my divorce. I wanted a mentor. I wanted someone to support me. I wanted to be able to reach out to someone when things got really, really bad and just had them like talk me off the fence or the ledge and just know that someone was in my corner. Because ultimately, for a lot of your listeners, perhaps they are in a relationship with an alcoholic or they know someone of it. But the biggest issue with being in a relationship with someone who is an alcoholic, a lot of us don't tell a lot of people. We kind of live in this place of shame for many various reasons. And so, therefore, I want to give them a voice and let them know that they don't have to be in the shame anymore. And I want to be a mentor and a support. And I want to just let these women step out of the shadows and take their power back.
Yes, as you're talking, what comes into my mind is what signs or what were what were the signs or what would you tell these ladies that probably don't recognize them or they're trapped and they're like, well, am I there? How can I recognize those signs or how can I know that I'm in that kind of a situation?
Absolutely. And I get this question a lot because some people actually come to me and they're like, well, I'm not really sure that my husband's an alcoholic. And listen, uh, uh, for my definitions, not the purposes of the medical profession, not alcohol use disorder, for my purposes in my coaching, my definition is if alcohol, whether it's one beer or 100 beers, are causing you distress in your relationship so that you're unable to communicate or be who you authentically are in your relationship, then that's a sign that perhaps you need support. And that's the way I look at it.
Okay, very interesting. In your case, or if ladies are listening right here and they're like, I don't know how to overcome this. I just don't know how to get myself out of this situation. How were you able to do so? How were you able to say, enough is enough? This is not what I want. I know that I deserve way better than this, and everyone does. How are you, and how were you able to come out of this? I mentioned in my book, it in my situation that I was in so many things, losing a child, being in this relationship that I didn't ask for, and my mom actually went through the same thing, being between life and death. I was trapped in this, and I had to make those baby steps. How were you able to say, no more, enough is enough, I need to get out of this?
Well, after I gone through the period that I'm sure if anyone is familiar or knows someone who has alcoholism or lived with someone who has alcoholism as a partner, after I got over the period of trying to fix them or change them and ended up actually feeling like I was pounding my head against the wall, I realized that something different had to happen. And that's when I came to the realization like the only person, he is never going to change. I think most women and men who are in relationships with alcoholics know that I can't change them. They're just going to do that. But we try so hard, right? We maybe might manipulate or maybe we use ultimatums, but all of that won't work. And so I encourage the women or men who are listening that, this is about empowering yourself. It's like just taking back control of your power. You don't have to be a victim in this relationship. You can be the superhero because when you start taking care of yourself and speaking up to your partner and communicate in an effective way and create boundaries, you will just start feeling better. You'll start feeling stronger. And then from that place, you'll take the next step. And with that strength, then you get to reflect on your situation, not from a place of emotion, but a place of certainty to where you are in this relationship, how you feel, and then decide from that point what your next step is. And when I say that, I'm not telling people to leave, I'm not telling people to stay. I'm telling them once the cloud of the chaos is lifted because they have empowered themselves enough that from that place they can decide clearly, I love this person, I'm going to continue on, but keep on this self-care journey so I don't get into the chaos anymore, or I'm going to actually move in a different direction and I'm going to work toward those goals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's wonderful what you're saying. And I would want to know what would be your mission, or, how could they reach out to you? Because these kind of topics are, things that a lot of people don't want to talk about, that they keep in silence. Like my book says, shh, finding the courage to finally speak out. There's a lot of topics that people just don't want to talk about, that they keep in secrecy, that they're, shh, we're not going to talk about this. And
Yeah.
it's always behind doors. A lot of things that happen, they keep in their homes,
Mhm.
and they're topics that you just don't talk about.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because that's how it's always been. And we need to have breakthrough in these topics, and there has to be a way of finding healing and finding restoration. And it's okay not to be okay, but it's just not okay to stay. And we've talked about this. We were not, as we are right now, to talk about these topics, to have healing and restoration, and to break through these difficult topics. And we need to talk about them, but we just cannot stay there. We just cannot continue staying in that vicious, unhealthy cycle, because it's just not okay. And I know that there's a lot of people that will be listening, and they're going to be interested in trying to contact you and trying to know more about your story. And my story will definitely resonate with some people, but definitely your story will be very touching, and people are going to want to connect with you and say, hey, I've been in that situation, with my spouse, or with a loved one, and I want to help them, or why I want to help myself, because I'm somehow so tied in that mess that I need to get myself out of it. I just cannot, get myself out of that mess. And definitely you would probably inspire them and help them because they're in that kind of a situation. And it would be grateful. It would be wonderful for them to be able to connect with you and find the way to find you. Where could they be able to find you? How could they contact you?
Well, the best way they can learn more about me, my story, and actually my program and how I help people is go to my website,
Mhm.
which is DeannaMarieLifeCoaching.com. That's DEA, two N's, A, MarieLifeCoaching.com. And there you can get more detail about really my backstory and see if my story resonates with you and my process resonates with you. Because I'm not, my coaching doesn't, it's not intended to change your partner. We are only here and I can only help you and you can only help you by making changes within you. Sorry, I'm stumbling. Making changes within you. So you'll see that there. Also, if you're interested in seeing how I tell other stories, I can be found on Facebook at Deanna Marie Life Coaching, and I'm on Instagram at Deanna Marie Life Coaching. I make it easy. It's all the same. And I would encourage those who do have Instagram and Facebook, send me a message. If you send me a message, you have a question because you don't want to ask a friend or you don't even know someone who has a partner in an alcoholic relationship, send me a message and I will respond. I promise you, I will respond to you and it'll be me. I don't have an assistant. It's all me.
Well, that's wonderful that they could actually contact you
Yeah.
directly. Now, what would be your last message um, to this audience that follow me? What would you actually tell them? You know, something that will uplift them. That's very direct because you definitely know so much about this. You've been with someone in this topic. What would you say?
I would just say to all of the partners of alcoholics out there that you already know you cannot change them. You cannot control their behavior. Knowing that you don't have to stay stuck in this relationship anymore. And again, when I say stuck, it doesn't mean leave the relationship. It means just feeling so overwhelmed by these feelings, feeling like you're so out of control when you get out of, when you go to an event or you're out in public. And with the changes that you make within you, and they can be small changes. Setting boundaries could be as simple as starting with pick up your laundry, and moving forward to bigger boundaries of what you'll do when they drink. And with each of these small steps, you'll just start feeling stronger and you don't have to stay stuck in this relationship. You can get out. You can do it on your own. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody's going to save you from this relationship. You have to help yourself. And I guarantee you, but if you just take small steps toward change, toward empowering yourself, you're going to start feeling like the old you and you're going to make strong decisions from a place of strength and confidence, knowing what you want to do next.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I think that definitely your message today will definitely resonate with a lot of people that need that hope, that
Mhm.
need to hear this message, that need someone that will definitely will resonate, that understands them, that know, what you have actually shared today, that know where you're coming from. Um, and thank you for being here. Your message will definitely transform, will touch, will heal. And please reach out to her. As she said, she does not have an assistant. She reaches out directly, and that's a big difference.
Yeah,
And she will keep whatever you mentioned to her privately. It's
absolutely.
not about her going and sharing with someone else. No, definitely, I could see that she does not have an agenda of sharing what you're sharing with her because she's being very transparent, very genuine of what she went through. I don't think that something so sensitive. I must say that when I was talking to her, I shared also my own story. and it was not easy for me to share. She was very genuine, very vulnerable, and she said, Analee, what you went through was very intense. It was a lot. I didn't walk your same shoes. Your shoes were a lot more. And I definitely felt like she understood, but I also respect the fact that she's also gone through a lot. I
Yeah.
believe that we all go through a lot in life. I think that I share in my book that we actually go through more than we actually could tolerate somehow. And we supposed to respect each other because definitely we all have a story. And with that said, um, thank you for being here with us today. Thank you, Diane, for being here. And I believe that your story will definitely touch so many lives. I respect you. I honor you for being here today. And I know that your story will definitely touch many lives. Have a wonderful day and continue being here with me on my podcast, A Legacy of Love, Un Legado de Amor, which I know that will inspire, empower many people and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.